Today, we are embarking on a journey into one of the most profound and influential philosophies of the ancient world, Stoicism. Founded in Athens over 2,000 years ago, Stoicism is more than just a set of ideas. It is a guide for living a life of wisdom, virtue, and inner peace, principles that resonate just as powerfully in today's fast-paced world as they did in ancient times. Now, let's begin by exploring how Stoicism came to be. History of Stoicism. The Stoic school was established around 300 BCE by Zeno of Citium. Zeno, like many great thinkers of his time, was an avid student of Socratic dialogues, but he was also influenced by Cynicism, a school of thought that advocated for simple living and mastery over one's desires. After Zeno suffered a shipwreck that left him in financial ruin, he turned to philosophy as a means of finding a stable path in life. His studies led him to Athens, where he learned from the Cynic philosopher Crates and from the teachings of Plato's Academy. Combining these influences, Zeno founded a new school of thought, Stoicism, which was named after the Stoa Poikile, or painted porch, where he and his followers would meet. As Stoicism grew, Zeno passed the leadership of the school to his successor, Cleanthes, who in turn was followed by Chrysippus, the third and arguably most important figure in Stoic philosophy. Chrysippus is often credited with solidifying Stoicism into a structured and cohesive system of thought. He wrote extensively, 150 works in fact, although, sadly, none of his complete works have survived. But despite this, the ideas of Zeno, Cleanthes, and Chrysippus were preserved in part through later writers and thinkers. For example, the Roman philosopher Cicero, who, although not a Stoic himself, recorded and engaged deeply with Stoic philosophy, bringing it to Roman audiences. Throughout history, Stoicism continued to evolve. By the time of the Roman Empire, it became even more influential, with figures like Seneca, the philosopher and advisor to Emperor Nero, and Epictetus, a former slave who taught that while we cannot control the events that happen to us, we can control how we respond. And of course, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who left behind his personal reflections in the timeless work, Meditations. The structure of Stoicism: physics, logic, and ethics. But what exactly is Stoicism? At its core, Stoicism is a philosophy built around three key areas: physics, logic, and ethics. These are not isolated subjects, but deeply interconnected parts of a single system, a system designed to help us understand the world and how to live in harmony with it. Let's start with physics. In Stoicism, physics refers to the study of the natural world, understanding the laws of nature, the cosmos, and how everything around us works. The Stoics believed that the universe operates according to a rational order, often referred to as logos. They saw this cosmic order as something we, as humans, are part of, and therefore it's essential to live in accordance with nature. Next, we have logic. This is the part of Stoicism that deals with reasoning and knowledge. The Stoics believe that logic is fundamental for understanding the world clearly and avoiding deception. It's about learning how to think correctly, to separate truth from falsehood, and to live a life that is based on reason rather than impulse. They used logic to examine their own beliefs, ensuring that they aligned with reality, and to engage in meaningful dialogue with others. Finally, we come to ethics, perhaps the most important aspect of Stoic philosophy. Ethics, for the Stoics, is about how to live a good life, a life of virtue. They believe that true happiness, or eudaimonia, comes from living in harmony with nature and reason, and that virtue is the only true good. For the Stoics, virtue is not just about doing good deeds. It's about cultivating inner strength, self-control, and wisdom. It's about living in a way that is consistent with your values, no matter what happens around you. The Stoics often used metaphors to explain how these three parts of philosophy fit together. For instance, they compared philosophy to an egg. Logic is the shell, ethics is the white, and physics is the yolk. Together, these parts form a whole. In another analogy, philosophy is compared to a garden. Logic is the wall that surrounds the garden, physics is the trees that grow within it, and ethics is the fruit that the garden bears. The ultimate goal is ethical, living a good, virtuous life. But physics and logic are essential foundations for that. The practical side of Stoicism. But what makes Stoicism so powerful and so timeless is that it's not just an intellectual exercise. It's a way of life. The Stoics believed that philosophy should be practical, that it should help us deal with the challenges of everyday life. This is why their teachings resonate so deeply with people today. At the heart of Stoic ethics is the idea that while we cannot control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. The Stoics emphasized focusing on what is within our control, our thoughts, our actions, our reactions, and letting go of what is not, like the opinions of others or external events. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This approach leads to a kind of inner resilience, a calmness in the face of adversity. Stoicism teaches us to accept the natural course of events with equanimity. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor facing constant political turmoil, war, and personal loss, practiced this mindset, writing to himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Stoicism's influence and challenges. Now, despite the challenges of time, Stoicism's influence has endured for centuries. Its principles have inspired not only philosophers, but statesmen, military leaders, and everyday individuals seeking wisdom in their personal lives. However, as with many ancient philosophies, one of the main challenges in understanding Stoicism today is the lack of original texts. Much of what we know comes from later writers, including those who were critical of Stoicism. Yet scholars have painstakingly pieced together Stoic teachings from the works of these critics, as well as from surviving fragments and quotes. One of the most important collections is the Stoicorum Veterum Fragmenta, which gathers the remaining fragments of early Stoic philosophers like Zeno, Cleanthes, and Chrysippus. Thanks to efforts like this, we have a remarkable insight into the development of Stoic thought. Conclusion and final thoughts. In conclusion, Stoicism is far more than an ancient philosophy confined to the past. It is a living tradition, offering timeless insights into how to lead a virtuous and fulfilling life. Whether it's mastering our emotions, living according to reason, or finding peace in the face of adversity, Stoicism teaches us that the path to true happiness lies within. If Stoicism has sparked your curiosity, I encourage you to explore it further. Read the works of Seneca, Epictetus, or Marcus Aurelius, and see how their teachings might apply to your own life. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Stoic philosophy. If you enjoyed this exploration, be sure to dive deeper and reflect on how these ideas could help you live a more balanced and meaningful life. Until next time.